Good afternoon, guys. In last class, we discussed the designing of multiple reactor system. Today, we are going to discuss the kinetics and designing of multiple reaction system. Multiple reaction system. So, what is multiple reaction system? In layman terms, we can say where more than one reactions are there, but that's not the correct one. As a chemical engineer, we should say multiple reaction system is the one where we have more than one rate equation. Okay, and since we have more than one rate equation, that's why we cannot rely on the reactant conversion only. Okay, so in this case, the design parameter becomes the product distribution. Examples are like, there are basically 4 types of multiple reaction system in our syllabus. In our books actually, that is parallel reaction, series reaction, independent reaction and complex reaction system. And if I talk about our syllabus, we have only 2 of them, that is parallel reaction and series reaction. So first we will talk about the parallel reaction, then we will talk about the series reaction. So if anyone asks you what is parallel reaction, so you can simply say parallel reaction is the one where a set of reactant gives 2 or more products simultaneously by following the different reaction mechanism. Okay, means suppose I have a set of reactant like this, A plus B, and it gives R and S, 2 or more products by following different reaction mechanism simultaneously. That is the parallel reaction. Okay, and in the kinetics of parallel reaction, I hope you can do, that's not a big deal. Okay, we have to do the same thing which we have done till now. Like if we have a parallel reaction as A gives R, A gives S, and here RR is equal to K1Ca and RS is equal to K2Ca. Okay, so obviously you can write minus RA as K1Ca plus K2Ca, or you can simply say K1 plus K2 times of Ca, assuming both the steps are first order. Okay, for this case we want to know the kinetic equation. So it's simple. All these multiple reaction system we will discuss for constant volume reaction system only. Okay, as per the syllabus. So for constant volume reaction system, we know that minus RA can be written as minus dCA by dt, that is equal to this, and when you solve, you will get Ca is equal to Ca naught e to the power minus of K1 plus K2 times of T. That is the kinetic equation for A. Okay, or you can see the concentration profile of A. Okay, and if you draw this, you will get at t equal to 0, that is Ca naught, and it will decrease exponentially with time. Okay, on y-axis we have Ca, on x-axis we have T, obviously. Now next, if I want to know the concentration profile of R and S, or you can say the kinetic equation in terms of R and S, that also you can do. Like we have RR for constant volume reaction system, we know that RR can be written as dCr by dt, that is K1Ca. So you can put the value of Ca, that will be Ca naught e to the power minus K1 plus K2 times of T. Okay, so here dCr will become K1 Ca naught e to the power minus of K1 plus K2 times of T into dt. Now you can integrate this. At T0 it is Cr0, at any time T it is Cr. So from here you will get Cr minus Cr naught is equal to K1 Ca naught e to the power minus K1 plus K2 times of T over minus of K1 plus K2 minus K1 Ca naught. Okay, ultimately you can say Cr minus Cr naught is equal to K1 Ca naught, ये पूरा डिनोमिनेटर में रहेगा ना, ओवर K1 plus K2 1 minus e to the power minus of K1 plus K2 times of T. Okay, simple. That's how you can get the design equation of R, kinetic equation in terms of R. Okay, and similarly you can write it for S. That will be Cs minus Cs naught is equal to, now we will not write K1, we will write K2, as Rs is equal to K2Ca. So it will be K2Ca naught over K1 plus K2 times of 1 minus e to the power minus of K1 plus K2 times of T. This is the kinetic equation in terms of S, or you can say the concentration profile of S. Okay, and when you plot them, they will be like, see, in general, if you draw the concentration profile, okay, so at T equal to 0, Ca is Ca naught, it will decrease exponentially. This is Cr, this is Cs, if K1 is greater than K2, because you can see the only difference in the profile of R and S is K1 and K2. This is when Cr naught and Cs naught both are 0. Okay, this curve is valid when Cr naught and Cs naught both are 0. I am doing all this stuff relatively fast because I assume that all the kinetic equation and everything is clear to all of you, whatever we have discussed till now. If K2 is greater than K1, it will be like, then obviously you know that only difference is K1 and K2 here in Cr and Cs. Okay, so what will happen? If K2 is more, so Cs, the formation of S will be more as compared to R. So this will be Cs and this will be Cr. And you can see it is not starting from 0. Okay, so if Cr naught and Cs naught are there, so the curve will start from somewhere on the y-axis, not from the origin. If both are 0 initially, then it will start from the origin only. Okay, doesn't matter. And this is Ca, that will decrease exponentially. And if K1 and K2 both are same, then Cr and Cs will be same, and the curve will be like this only, where Cr equal to Cs as K1 is equal to K2, and this is Ca. I hope it is clear to you. This is the kinetic equation of parallel reaction system. Okay, next, if I talk about the designing. So for the designing of parallel reaction, we use few tools, few parameters known as selectivity and yield. Mainly selectivity, that is used for the optimization of the reaction. Okay, and now let's talk about the selectivity. So here for parallel reactions, we can classify the selectivity in two ways. One is overall selectivity. That can be denoted by S bar, capital S bar, and it is defined as S bar is equal to amount of desired product formed to the amount of undesired product formed. That is the total amount of desired product formed to the total amount of undesired product formed. Okay, so suppose we were having our reaction like A gives R, A gives S, and R is the desired product. Okay, so overall selectivity will become, we can denote it like this, R by S in suffix. Okay, where R means the term which is in numerator, that means desired, and in denominator undesired. So it will be total amount of desired product formed. It will be final moles of R minus initial moles of R to the total amount of undesired product formed. That is final moles of S minus initial moles of S. Okay. And for constant volume reaction system, we know that volume of reaction mixture at any time t will be same as the initial volume. So if you multiply and divide by volume, this you can also write it as Cr minus Cr naught over Cs minus Cs naught. That is for CVRS. Okay, for CVRS. That is the overall selectivity. But obviously with the help of overall selectivity, we cannot optimize the reaction. Why? Because overall selectivity, if you understand, suppose this is a reactor, I am sending A as a feed, and in outlet I am getting A, R and S. The amount of total amount formed will be based on the inlet and outlet data. Okay, so when R and S has been formed already, they are formed already, then what is the meaning of optimizing things? Okay, like it is like आपका 10th क्लास हो गया, आपने 10th क्लास का रिजल्ट भी आ गया, अब क्या 10th क्लास में कर लोगे? आप कुछ कर सकते हो? दोबारा 10th क्लास दोगे? नहीं ना. सपोज आपके 94% है, बट आपको तो 95 चाहिए थे, तो आप कुछ कर सकते हो? कुछ नहीं कर सकते, रिजल्ट आ चुका है. सो ओवरऑल सेलेक्टिविटी do not help us to optimize the process. Okay, it just help us to do the material balance. That's it. Okay, and that you must have used in process calculation and somewhere for to do the material balance using selectivity. But if I want to optimize the process, so what to do? Then understand, I have to go inside the process. When I am inside the system, then I can do that. Okay, 10th बोर्ड के एग्जाम होने से पहले जो आपने एक्टिविटीज की हैं, दैट विल अफेक्ट योर रिजल्ट. ओके, अगर आपने अच्छे से प्रिपरेशन की है तो अच्छा रिजल्ट आएगा, और कुछ नहीं किया तो कुछ नहीं आएगा. सो आई हैव टू गो इनसाइड द सिस्टम, एंड फॉर दैट वी हैव अनदर टाइप ऑफ सेलेक्टिविटी दैट इज कॉल्ड इंस्टेंटेनियस सेलेक्टिविटी. That is denoted by S, capital S. Okay, and what is instantaneous selectivity? Instantaneous selectivity is defined as reaction rate of desired product to the reaction rate of undesired product. Because inside the system I cannot measure the mole easily, but I can control the rate of reaction, and rate of reaction is ultimate thing which I can use to optimize the process. Like here R is the desired product, so I can write it as R by S, obviously in numerator desired, in denominator undesired, is equal to RR over RS. So now we will see how we can optimize the reaction by using instantaneous selectivity, the parallel reactions, how we can optimize that. So I hope this part is clear to all of you. Okay, now let's move on and see how to optimize the reaction. Suppose I have a parallel reaction as A plus B gives R, A plus B gives S, where RR is equal to K1 Ca power alpha 1, Cb power beta 1, and Rs is equal to K2 Ca power alpha 2, Cb power beta 2. Okay. Ultimately what I want that overall selectivity should be high. Okay, I want overall selectivity to be high, because if overall selectivity is high, it means the amount of desired product formed will be high, as compared, and amount of undesired product formed will be low. That is the meaning. Okay, I want the higher amount of desired product. So for that, you should know that overall selectivity is some function of instantaneous selectivity. Okay. If instantaneous selectivity is high, overall selectivity will be high. If instantaneous selectivity is low, overall selectivity will be low. Simple. Okay. So what is instantaneous selectivity? R by S, that is RR over RS. Now you can put these values here and ultimately you will get K1 upon K2 times of Ca power alpha 1 minus alpha 2 and Cb power beta 1 minus beta 2. That is the instantaneous selectivity for a parallel reaction like this. Okay. So I want higher selectivity. So what to do? See, based on concentration, you can simply say that, like first case, if alpha 1 is greater than alpha 2 and beta 1 is greater than beta 2. Okay, so you will see here S is proportional to Ca power alpha 1 minus alpha 2. What is alpha 1 minus alpha 2? Is positive. So power will be positive here. For Cb, power will be positive here. Okay, so it means if I increase Ca, S will increase. So I will keep high Ca and high Cb for higher selectivity, so that overall selectivity can be high, so that the amount of desired product formed can be higher. Okay, that is, I hope, clear. Then second case, if alpha 1 is less than alpha 2 and beta 1 is equal to beta 2. Okay, so you can see that S is proportional to Ca power negative and Cb power 0. So in that case, I will keep lower Ca, because if concentration of A is low, S will be high, and B doesn't matter. You keep high Cb, low Cb, because S will be independent of concentration of B. Okay, and that's how you can draw n number of cases: alpha 1 less than alpha 2, beta 1 greater than beta 2, or alpha 1 greater than alpha 2, beta 1 less than beta 2, and so on. Okay, so I'm not going in that detail because I hope you have understood all these things based on these two cases only. Okay, so that's how we can optimize the reaction selectivity based on concentration. Now the question is, what is this concentration? Okay, this concentration is at the inlet, outlet, or within the reactor. So this is concentration is coming because of the rate of reaction, and we know that rate of reaction, we can talk about the rate of reaction only when we are within the system, because reaction takes place within the reactor only, not in the inlet or outlet pipe. Okay, so this Ca, Cb are the concentration within the reactor. Okay, it means if I want to keep high Ca, low Ca, high Cb, low Cb, whatever it is, all these Ca, Cb are within the reactor. I have to keep high Ca, I have to keep low Ca in the reactor, not in the inlet or outlet pipe. Okay, we will see that how can we keep high Ca and low Ca. Next is K1, K2 based on the temperature, because we know that reaction rate is the function of concentration as well as temperature. So we have to see the temperature parameter as well. Okay, so for temperature, we have more cases, like third case, okay, and fourth case. So for temperature, see, S is the function of K, K is the function of temperature. So just think like in the reactor, if I increase the temperature, suppose this is the reactor, if I increase temperature, so K1, K2 both will increase. If I decrease temperature, K1 and K2 both will decrease. So how can I find out? Okay, so you have to be careful with this and understand this is one important thing about the temperature, because for concentration it's simple mathematics you can do, but for temperature it's little bit logical and conceptual as well. Okay, K, according to Arrhenius theory, K is the function of temperature, and one more parameter comes there, that is activation energy. Okay, and here if I talk about, these are the two different reactions ultimately. Okay, two different reaction steps, so they may have two different activation energies. So suppose for first it is E1, for second it is E2. So what can happen if E1 is greater than E2 or E1 is less than E2? Okay, so it's simple to understand. Just see, if you remember the Arrhenius plot, then you must know that Arrhenius law, if you remember, then you must know that there was a curve drawn between ln k versus 1 by t. Okay. ln k versus 1 by t. So in this curve, if you remember, the curve was a straight line and slope was minus e by r. Okay, so if E1 is greater than E2, it means the slope of K1 curve will be more as compared to K2 curve. So I can say that my K1 curve is something like this and K2 curve is supposed like this. And similarly here, the slope of K2 curve will be more as compared to K1 curve. Okay. Now here if you see, in the system, suppose I am supplying steam, because obviously if you want to increase the temperature, you have to supply heat, and heat we can supply by using steam. So I am supplying the heat to the reactor, and when heat is supplied, temperature will rise. Okay, and for both the reaction steps, temperature rise will be obviously. Okay, so you can see if temperature rise is this much. Okay, same for both the steps. Then percentage increase in K2 will be this much, and percentage increase in K1 will be more. Okay, so K1 will increase more as compared to K2. Okay, K1 will increase more as compared to K2. So the selectivity will increase. So what will I do? I will keep high temperature. And here you can see as you decrease the temperature, K will decrease, but if you see, the decrease in K2 will be more as compared to decrease in K1. Okay, decrease in K2 will be more as compared to decrease in K1. So K2 is decreasing, so obviously the ratio will increase and S will increase. So we will keep low temperature. Okay, so you can understand, like if the activation energy of numerator step, if activation energy of desired product is high, desired step is high, we will keep high temperature. But if the activation energy of undesired step is high, then we will keep low temperature. Okay, we want more desired product and we want less undesired product. So more desired product, and if the activation energy of desired product is high, then I will keep more temperature. Less undesired product, if the activation energy of the undesired product is high, then I will keep less temperature. Simple. Okay, so that is the effect of temperature on selectivity and thus overall selectivity and the amount of desired and undesired product. Okay, so I hope it is clear to all of you. Okay, so this is about the selectivity part. Now, based on temperature and concentration. Now we will see how to increase and decrease the temperature. You know that to increase temperature, supply heat. For that you can use the steam in the reactor jackets. To decrease the temperature, you can use cooling water in the reactor jackets. Simple. But what about the concentration? So if I want to increase, if I want to keep high or low concentration within the reactor, then अलग ही कर लेते हैं ना. See, to keep high concentration within the reactor, or ये क्या हुआ, low concentration within the reactor. So what we have to do? Simple. First, if you want to keep high concentration within the reactor, use PFR. If you want to keep low concentration within the reactor, use MFR. Why? Because we have seen that in last class. Okay, that in case of PFR, here concentration is Ca0, here concentration is Cf. So concentration will reduce from Ca0 to Ca1, then Ca2, Ca3, Ca4, Ca5 and so on up to Cf. So here the concentration drop is slow, gradual. Okay, so it is easy to keep higher concentration within the reactor since concentration drop is quite slow. But if I talk about the MFR, this is Ca0. And this is CAF final. So we know that in case of MFR, concentration within the reactor and that of at outlet will be same. So ultimately the point was that here we have rapid concentration drop, and since rapid concentration drop is there in MFR, so it is quite difficult to maintain higher concentration within the reactor. But what we can do, the benefit of rapid concentration drop is we can maintain lower concentration within the reactor quite easily. That's why for low concentration we use MFR, for high concentration we use PFR. Second point, obviously you know that Ca is equal to Ca0 1 minus Xa. Okay, so that means if conversion is low, then Ca will be high, so keep low conversion within the reactor. Okay, and here keep high conversion within the reactor, because if Xa is high, Ca will be low. Simple. Okay, and remember all these points are independent to each other. You cannot use direct 2 points directly. These are separate points. Okay, like this, understand like this. Third, if you want to keep high Ca, so you know that for any reactor, suppose this is the feed, just try to understand, if I am sending pure A, then the mole fraction of A will be 1. Okay, so throughout the reactor, concentration of A, composition of A will be high relatively. But if I add inerts in this, then mole fraction of A will be small, less than 1. And if mole fraction of A is small, then inside the reactor, composition of A, concentration of A will be quite low, relatively low. So if I want to keep high Ca, what I have to do, I have to remove inerts from feed. Okay, and if I want to keep low Ca, then obviously I have to add inerts to feed. Simple. Okay, and the last point, for gaseous reactions, high Ca means keep high pressure. Low Ca means keep low pressure. inside the reactor. But this is for gaseous reactions only, because we know that for liquids there is no effect of pressure as such. Okay, so that's how we can keep high concentration, low concentration within the reactor. I hope this is also clear to all of you, all these points. Okay, you can understand the block diagrams of these points as well. Okay, like there will be one case where I want to keep high Ca and high Cb. There will be a case where I want to keep low Ca and low Cb. And there will be a case where I want to keep high Ca and low Cb, or vice versa. So if I want to keep high Ca and high Cb, then what to do? Because for high Ca we have to use PFR, so just send the entire feed, the combination of A and B both, in the PFR directly. Okay. If you want to keep low Ca and low Cb, for that I have to use MFR. So what to do? Just send the combination of A and B to an MFR, to one MFR directly, like this. Simple. Okay. Do we need to read residue theorem in complex variables? For that you can discuss your point with your mathematics faculty. He will tell you better. Tomorrow he will have the quick revision class of mathematics. You can ask him in that class. But we know one more thing when we discuss the multiple reactor system, that an ideal PFR is nothing but just a combination of infinite MFRs in series. So it means instead of one MFR, I can also use infinite MFR in series. Okay, so it means just send the combination of A and B to that infinite MFR in series system. It will also work. And for PFR, we know the basic difference between PFR and MFR is back mixing. In MFR we have back mixing, in PFR axial mixing is 0. Okay, so in PFR, if you do the recycling, if you attach one recycle stream, then that will act like one MFR. Okay, condition is R should be infinite, the recycle ratio. If recycle ratio is infinite, then your PFR will act like an ideal MFR. Okay, so in this you can send the combination of A and B directly like this. Okay, but in the third case, if I want to keep high Ca and low Cb, then what to do? See, I have to send A into PFR, no problem. But I want B to be low, and for low B, I have to use MFR. But what to do now? See, in that case, if you remember, PFR is the combination of infinite MFR in series, or we can say infinite plugs in series. Okay, so we can consider one plug as an ideal MFR. So we can send B on an individual plug like this. Okay, and you know that practically it is impossible to do this. Okay, because the mechanical strength of the equipment will become weak. And second important thing is plugs are one imaginary concept, hypothetical concept. Okay, so it is not possible to identify those plugs, find out those plugs. Okay, so what we can do for this, we can use the practical alternative. The practical alternative of this is, we know PFR is the combination of infinite MFR in series. Use infinite MFR in series and A in that system. Okay, and B directly to individual reactor like this. Okay, so this will be my practical way to use this system. Okay, so this is how we can keep high concentration and low concentration within a reactor. Okay, to keep high cell activity. I hope this is clear to all of you. Okay, and on this they have already asked so many questions in GATE exam. Okay, in previous year papers, if you see. Like there was one question in GATE 2004 for 2 marks. Okay, pick out the wrong design guideline for a parallel reaction. Okay, so here if you see, selectivity is given as RR over RS equal to K1 by K2 Ca power A minus B. And from all the 4 options, one thing is obvious, that A is greater than B. So Ca power will be positive. That means I have to keep high Ca. Okay. To maximize R. Okay. So here what to do? To high Ca, we know that for high Ca use PFR. So option C is correct. Avoid recycling. Option B is also correct, because if we attach the recycle stream on PFR, it will become MFR. Okay, so we have to avoid the recycling thing. That is correct. Use high pressure. That is also correct, because if gaseous reaction is there, high Ca, high pressure. Okay. D, use MFR. That is incorrect, because MFR we use for low Ca. But here I have to keep high Ca. So D is the incorrect design guideline. So in the exam, when you have to pick the wrong one, so you will select D as your option. Okay, simple. This question was there for 2 marks. Such a easy question. Okay, you can see. Then there was a line of after this there is a line of such questions. Okay, like 54. Here you have to see the temperature profile. Desired product is C, so I want to maximize C here. Now see, product C is forming from A, but A is also giving B. It means B is undesired and C is desired. Okay, so what will be the selectivity? Selectivity will be B by C. Okay, that means K1 upon K2 as given, K1 upon K2. Sorry, selectivity is desired over undesired, है ना? So it not be C by B, it will be C, B by C नहीं होगा, C by B होगा. That means K2 upon K1. हाँ, ठीक है, डिजायर्ड अपॉन अनडिजायर्ड होता है. सो हियर K1 is 100 means the activation energy E1 is 100, K2 is 150 means activation energy is 150 for desired step. And as I have already told you, if the activation energy of desired step is high, I will keep high temperature. So I will keep high temperature initially. Okay, now one thing I have made sure that in the start of the reaction I will have less formation of B, but I will have large formation of C. Okay, now C is also getting disappeared. Okay, so I have to take care of that step as well, because I don't want the disappearance of C, I want the formation of C only. Okay, so here if you see formation of C is K2 and the activation energy is 150, and disappearance of C is represented by K4, and here the activation energy is 200. Now just try to understand, if I keep high temperature again, what will happen? K4 will increase more as compared to K2 since its activation energy is high. Okay, if you see the curve, K4 curve will be more steep as compared to K2. So K4 will increase more as compared to K2. So disappearance of C will increase. Okay, so what I have to do, I have to keep low temperature now. Because if I keep low temperature, then K4 will decrease more as compared to K2. Okay, so in that case the disappearance of C will decrease and the formation of C will increase. So the profile will be initially high, finally low. That means the decreasing profile. So option D will be my correct answer. Okay, simple. So this question was again there for 2 marks. I hope it is clear. Now next, similarly there are n number of questions. Okay, you can solve that by yourself, like this was 63, and further there are so many questions. One question they asked in just last year paper. Actually last to last year paper. This was the question for 143. Okay, for other desired liquid phase reaction D plus E gives F is this is accompanied by undesired reaction. This. Okay, we have these 4 options. Which one will be the most favorable? Okay, obviously I want the desired formation of desired product to be more. So here if you see CD square CE power 0.3, CD power 0.4, CE power 1.5. So when you take the selectivity, you will see that CD power positive, CE power negative. It means I want to have high CD and low CE. High CD means D will go in PFR, low CE means E will go like this. So option C will be the correct answer. Okay, so that's how you can solve such questions. Okay, easy ones, not a big deal. Now next is yield. So again here we can define the yield in 2 ways. One is overall yield, that can be denoted by phi, and second is fractional yield, that can be denoted by psi, the standard notations I am using, which are given in the books. And one thing should be clear to you, that overall yield is the average of fractional yield. Okay, for any system the average of fractional yield is will be same as its overall yield. Okay, suppose I have a reaction A gives R, A gives S, where RR is equal to K1 Ca power alpha, and Rs is equal to K2 Ca power beta. Suppose R is the desired product. Okay, so overall yield is defined as amount of desired product formed, total amount of desired product formed to the, for CVRS system, total amount of A reacted okay, and remember, if we have more than one reactants, so we will consider the limiting reactant here. Okay, so here overall yield will become NR minus NR naught over Na naught minus Na. Simple. And similarly, you can write that in terms of concentration. That's not a big deal. That is overall yield for us. And if I talk about the fractional yield, so that is defined as the reaction rate of desired product to the reaction rate of limiting reactant, like A. If we have only one reactant, then that itself will be the limiting one, and if we have more than one reactant, then we have to write it for limiting reactant. So here average fractional yield, that is R by A. Overall yield you can write as R by A in suffix or simplify. So average fractional yield RR over minus RA, and that you can write whatever RR and what is minus RA. I hope you understand that. Okay, and here one thing should be clear to you. For MFR, overall yield will be equal to average fractional yield, and that will be equal to fractional yield. Okay, as in MFR we have uniform concentration throughout, and uniform concentration throughout, when we have uniform concentration throughout, so fractional yield will be uniform as well. Okay, so this. And if I talk about the PFR, so average fractional yield can be, we know that in PFR concentration is changing along the length, means non-uniform concentration. And when we have non-uniform concentration throughout the reactor, so fractional yield will also be non-uniform throughout the reactor. Okay, and when fractional yield is non-uniform, so we have to calculate the average fractional yield by using integral method, that we can do as psi into dCA over integration of dCA. In PFR, I hope you know, at Z equal to 0, at length Z equal to 0, concentration will be Ca naught. At length Z equal to L, concentration will be Ca. So average fractional yield will be equal to 1 upon Ca naught minus Ca. In numerator we will have Ca minus Ca naught. If you take minus common, it will become Ca naught minus Ca. And if you put that minus in the integration, limits will change. So it will become like integration of psi dCA, and limits will change, so it will become Ca to Ca naught. Okay, and here in overall yield for constant volume reaction system, if you multiply and divide by volume, it will become Cr minus Cr naught over Ca naught minus Ca. And further, if you rewrite, you can write it as Cr is equal to Cr naught plus phi times of Ca naught minus Ca, and that is the overall yield, average fractional yield equal to overall yield in PFR. Okay, so if the parallel reaction is taking place in MFR, put phi equal to psi, and if reaction is taking place in a PFR, then put phi equal to this. Okay, so when you put these values here, So in case of MFR, CR will be equal to CR naught plus psi times of CA naught minus CA. This will be the equation. Okay, and when you put this value of phi in PFR, then you can see CA naught minus CA term will get cancelled, and CR will be equal to CR naught plus integration of psi dCA from CA to CA naught. Okay, that is about the yield in parallel reaction. Simple. Okay, and this is one very simple question. If S is the desired product, then fractional yield will be RS upon minus RA. Okay, so they have asked few questions on this yield method as well in GATE exam in previous years. Okay, so let's do one of the question here. The remaining question I hope you can do by yourself. This question number 105 and 106. Here one correction is, this is R and this is S. Okay, A gives R, A gives S. So let's try to solve this. Take 2 minutes to solve, then I will discuss. Now see, here if you read this question, this is a parallel reaction, CA naught, CR naught, CS naught are given, CSTR reaction is taking place in CSTR. So in CSTR we know that phi will be same as fractional yield. Okay, so in first part you have to calculate the, if conversion of A is 80%, then what will be the concentration of R in exit stream. So we know that CR is equal to CR naught plus psi times of CA naught minus CA. And what is psi in terms of R? It will be RR upon minus RA. RR upon minus RA means K1 CA square upon K1 CA square plus K2 CA. Or you can write it as K1 CA upon K1 CA plus K2, as one CA will get cancelled. Okay, so put the values. CA naught is 30, conversion is 80%. So what will be the CA? CA will be 6. You can calculate as CA naught 1 minus XA. Okay, put these values here. You will get CR equal to CR naught, that is 2, plus psi, that is K1 CA. K1 is given 0.5 into CA, that is 6, upon K1 CA 0.5 into 6 plus K2, that is 1. Okay, multiply by CA naught minus CA. So when you solve this, you will get CR is equal to 20. Simple. Next, CS is given. You have to find out the conversion of A. So we know that CS is equal to CS naught plus psi times of CA naught minus CA. This will be the equation as phi is equal to psi. And what will be the psi here? Fractional yield in terms of S. That will be RS upon minus RA. Or you can write it as K2 upon K1 CA plus K2. When you put the values, you will get this. So put the values. CS is 11.8. CS naught is 1. Fractional yield is K2, that is 1, upon 0.5 into CA plus 1 multiply by 30 minus CA. When you solve this, you will get CA is equal to 3. Thus XA will be 0.9. Okay, you have to answer that in the percentage, so it will be 90%. Simple. Okay, such a easy numerical. And this question was there for 2 plus 2, 4 marks. Okay, so you can see such a easy numerical they ask. So that's why I told you all these topics are easy and scoring. Okay, so remember this. But the point is, you should know what you have to do, what they are asking. Okay, and for that obviously we have to understand the meaning of each and every term and the equations. Okay, that's the only thing, nothing else. Mathematics calculations we are doing from class 1, so that's not a big deal. Oh, anyways, so this is all about the designing of parallel reaction. Okay, next we will talk about the designing of series reaction. Okay, so I hope it is clear to you, and the other questions from this part you can do by yourself. Okay, that's not a big deal. If you find difficulty in any of the question, you can always ask. Just you have to call or message on the office number. Okay. So let's have a break, guys. Okay, for 10 minutes. It's 3:35, so see you at 3:45.